Good evening, everyone. Bravo 51 here. And before I continue, I just want to go ahead and dedicate this video to God and his son, Jesus Christ, through whom which all of this is made possible. And with that being said, let's dig in. So there's two topics that I would really like to cover this evening, and I think they're important and they require a very large sense of urgency. So the first one is going to be advocacy. Okay, what is advocacy? It's something that requires more out of people than what they're initially willing to give. Okay, think about it this way. You can tell somebody, hey, hope you have a nice day, right? Is that wrong? No. And it's a very small version of advocacy for sure. But advocacy in the sense that I'm talking about goes the extra mile. Instead of like, hey, see you later, have a nice day. How about I shake your hand, I look you in the eye, and I say, I hope everything works out for you with all of whatever you've got going on. And we get past the surface level bullshit and we just start talking about what we need to be talking about, which is building each other up. Most people aren't really willing to do that. They don't want to sacrifice more of themselves than they already have to. People are pushed to the brink in society. They are so done with everything. Why would they want to give anything else? Not an inch further than what they already sacrifice. Do you think that that level of less than when it comes to the amount of empathy and advocacy people typically give to each other, do you think that that doesn't extend into, I don't know, maybe our healthcare professionals, people who we count on, people who make our food, people who give us the care that we need, doctors, lawyers, politicians, you name it. But specifically right now, I'm talking about mental health care, the professionals in that realm. Patient advocacy should be at the forefront of your job. You should absolutely be looking to do something better for your patients. And when I say better, that maybe those options aren't on the table for the things that you're able to give them. However, as a professional, you can give recommendations. And if you don't know what to recommend, or if you're too lazy, look it up. Because I guarantee you, your patients have the gumption to go find better options than what you're willing to give them and what you can give them. So if you can't give them something off the rip, how about you go the extra mile and make a recommendation instead of shunning them or maybe gaslighting them for their decision on not taking a medication that doesn't suit them or make them better. You got to be careful with this surface level shit, guys, especially when it comes to advocacy, because you have no idea where you're pushing people. And I think a lot of people nowadays have been pushed way too far. You know, you guys hear this video and you're probably thinking I'm talking about the VA specifically, and that's who my grievances are with. It is. I am. However, I'm talking to the rest of y'all because most people are very much guilty and in this basket that I'm talking about right now, this wide indictment that I'm sending out. And if you are, good. If you take this video personally, good. I hope you do something about it. I hope you do something better about it. I'll tell you to do better just like I tell the VA to do better in the very same breath. Both of y'all fucking do better. How about that? All right. So now we're done talking about that and where we can be better and how society can be better. Let's keep going a little bit more. Let's talk about stigma. Stigma regarding mental health. You know, most people throw that around thinking that they understand it. They say it to sound kind of impressive, like they're in the know. You're not. You've never been on that side of stigma. It's just a word that you can conveniently throw around to seem like you know something, but you really don't. A lot of you don't. I'll tell you what, those VA doctors, they sure don't, because they don't know what's on the other side of that. Okay? Let's just say you do go seek help. And you are part of that number that's being treated. What would you say if I told you that people at large seem to think that veterans are typically unhinged, they're mentally off, they are beyond saving, they're very irritable to be around, I don't have anything in common with them. I don't know how to even deal with them. La-di-da-di-da-di-da. And it all goes back to advocacy, guys. So instead of like being advocates for vets, you know what you guys do? You guys go for that stigma and you think you understand, but you don't. You actually just add more to the stigma. Go get medicated, go do that, man. And you're telling your buddies to do that because you think that that's the thing to do. Go get help, man. Go do it, dude. I think you should. You better be careful, man. That surface level bullshit kills people. And that's what this video is about. Surface level bullshit. It doesn't just end with the doctors. It goes way deeper than that. As a society, we have a problem with two of these things, stigma and that. You want to talk about negative stigma? How many of you have lost a job that you depended on to provide for your family around Thanksgiving or, I don't know, Christmas? When you're expected as a man to provide. Have you ever gone through that? I have a couple times, but there's one time in particular that I remember losing a job because of negative stigma. I worked my butt off at this job. And to give you a little context, I was a stay-at-home dad for a few years while my wife worked her way up in her educational career. Wasn't a choice I made lightly, and I caught a lot of shit for it. So I'm back in the workforce. I haven't gone back to school. I haven't done anything to train my mind or my skills or my anything. And I'm coming in with this hole in my background, for no employment. And it's hard to explain. So I'm already going into jobs with very low confidence, very low skill, and just no self-efficacy whatsoever. I take this job with Harlan Clark. They print checks, $12 an hour. It's pretty fucking shitty. But I'm happy because I'm able to provide for my family. And that's all that matters, right? Okay. I take this job, show up every day, on time, early, all the things, right? Maintain excellence. I'm a veteran. A lot of us naturally do that. So when I took this job, right around that time was the San Bernardino shooting. I don't know if y'all remember that. I'm taking you back that far, over 10 years now. And a gentleman went into a government building and shot up an entire meeting. He was radicalized Muslim. After that happened, just like 9/11, Muslim people in the United States started getting treated like shit almost instantly. I'm completely against that type of behavior. Not just the shooting, but treating people like shit that had nothing to do with it. Okay? I think I'm a little bit better than that compared to most people, given my background and my experiences and where I've been in the world. So I have a certain level of empathy for people, especially when they shouldn't be treated as such. So we had a very huge influx of Middle Eastern business owners who were calling our department. I worked in small business at this place. And because of my diction and how I was able to articulate myself to others, they thought I would be a good addition to this department. And I did great. The bad thing was, and I couldn't tell you if it's because I was a veteran, but what I'm about to say, I'll let you guys be the judge of it. I told my peers during this day when we had such a high influx of these particular customers, after I can hear them talking crap about them in the background between calls, I said, look, I don't know if you know this, but there was a shooting in San Bernardino and Muslims are being treated like shit like they were on 9/11 because of it. It's not their fault. They're not responsible. They didn't do that. So I would really appreciate it if you just didn't say that between calls. Does that sound like surface level empathy for you? I don't think it is. I think I was really trying to take action against people's attitudes who didn't want to know better or didn't want to understand anything about what they were dealing with. I thought I was adding value to the evening and people would be, treated better as such. Turns out you really can't be an agent of change like that if you don't have any respect. And I don't know why I didn't, but I can only guess. Anyways, I go home that night and the next day they call me and they tell me, don't come back to work. You will be arrested for making domestic terrorist threats. Excuse me? So the story was the agents that I told that to went and told my supervisor that I said that because of what had happened, I was going to call my veteran buddies in California to go exact revenge on Muslims. I've never been more insulted in my life. I love my country. I would do anything for it. I have a huge amount of love and empathy for every Muslim all over the world because of what I've gone through and where I've been. I would never say anything like that, and I would never do anything like that. However, because I am a veteran, that is the explanation that I was given during that phone call. And for the first time in my life, I saw what it looked like to be on the other side of that negative stigma. So if you want to throw that fucking word around, you go right ahead. But understand something. You better know your audience. Because there's people out there who have gone through this shit. I know I'm not alone. I know I'm not the only person who's gone through this. And so let's think about that for a second. If there are other veterans out there, other people who have been basically thrown in the fucking toilet and fake shit has been said about them, what part of stigma do you sit on if you agree with that bullshit? Do you think you're a purveyor of being against the negative stigma? Or do you think you're a contributor? Because if you think that shit's okay, I consider you the latter. You go try to provide for your family after you've lost a job. You can't get a job because somebody said some stupid shit like that about you. That's fucking stigma. That's mental health stigma. That is the bullshit that gets perpetuated when that shit is allowed to continue. And as long as veterans are painted into a negative stigma where they're made to ask questions that are besides themselves or not becoming of them, and because of our tendency to be medicated and go to these meetings and do all of these things, they are able to run with that. Anytime there's a mass shooter and he happens to be a veteran, what's the first thing that fucking happens? Don't worry, I'll wait. The indictment is that we're all unhinged. It becomes a blanket across the board. It's kind of like how those Muslim people were treated when that guy shot up that office in San Bernardino. That lack of empathy, that surface level advocacy, that fucking bullshit that I'm completely sick of. Bullshit that has gone on way too fucking long. And 2014, it didn't start there. It went way beyond that. But this is what I'm talking about. What are you guys going to do about it, huh? You going to be better? You going to care for people a little bit more? I'm not just talking to you doctors. I'm talking to everybody right now. This is la-di-da-di everybody. If you're watching this shit, this is for you too. You going to be better? We can't point fingers at our professionals without first looking at ourselves. How do you point a finger at somebody when you yourself could potentially be easily indicted in those charges? A little food for thought. And maybe this is my newfound love in Christ that is causing me to speak like this, because I really want to go knuckle deep into the VA healthcare system. I really do, just like anybody else. But it's surface level bullshit. There's a larger picture here at play. Multiple players, different teams, same shit. What are we going to do, guys? What's the plan? Where do we start making things better? I have two ideas. One, we can stop being surface level with each other. And two, we can stop gaslighting people for thinking that they are helping others because they have experience in these things. Experience. It'll make you think twice about who you follow and subscribe. It'll make you think twice about who you actually listen to. Chris Williamson is a great podcaster, but you know what he said that really resonates with me? There was a study, and it was a personal study that he did, and it was regarding the greatest form of self-mastery that one can do. That level of self-mastery requires that you are absolutely cognizant of what goes into your eyes and your ears in order to make your mind better. You want to be an advocate? Start advocating. Do better. I promise you, if you commit to being a better advocate, it'll honestly, by default, make you a better person. And don't worry about who you're better than. Always strive to just be better. Let's do that. You guys, I pray to God every day that God puts me in front of people who I can help. Every day. It's one of my favorite things to pray. Because I pray it from the bottom of my heart. And I really hope anybody that's watching right now can at least gather some sense and understand the message of this video. This isn't meant to insult you. This is meant to make you better. And if I trigger you, good. Maybe something will come out of it. Maybe something better will come out of you. I hope so. I'll pray for it. But we can't afford to keep being like this, guys. You know? This archaic way of looking at things and letting other people paint your reality. Go elbow deep in the shit one of these days and find out what you come out with. You'll come out a little wiser, more informed, less surface level. Consider this video my personal extension of encouragement to every single one of you watching to go forward and be better than you are right now. Let's start there before we point fingers. I think that's the best way I need to move forward about this without allowing myself to get corrupted. That's right. They try to corrupt your boy to feed into the stigma. Nice try, guys, but that's not going to happen. I wish you guys well in your journalist career, but I just want you to know that people are a lot smarter than you give them credit for. We're not going anywhere, and this shit ain't over. Mark Miller's death is the straw that broke the camel in my fucking back. We're just getting started. To the rest of y'all, God bless every single one of you. I'll be praying for every one of you. If you like this content, if this resonates with you, like and subscribe. And if you do want to speak to me, and if you ever want to bounce ideas off my head, or if you ever want to talk about any of the things, the topics that I'm covering in these videos, the links are in my bio. 30 minutes, free call. It's on Zoom. We can look at each other and we can kind of get that that genuine connection if we were to have a conversation like that. So that's why it's set up that way. I want you to get directly connected to me so that we can have a value conversation and something that is not surface level. If you ever get in touch with me, just know that nothing that ever comes out of me is ever surface level. It's just not like that. It never will be. And I will never be that person for anybody so long as I'm alive. So you have that as my guarantee. Y'all have a great rest of your evening. And until the next video, God bless y'all. Have a great night. Bravo, Bravo 51 out.